Good afternoon, dear souls. Let me just push that up there. There's a reason for that. Somebody says, Mark, could I have a look at the back of the elephant sculpture? Well, I've hurt my fingers, but I did manage to turn it around. It's quite weighty, so yeah. There you go. It was a little bit dusty, so I had to dust it down a bit. So there's the bottom of it. And as it rises up, it comes up to the top. Guess you want to look at it at the sides as well. There you go. It's fully sculptured all the way around. And just for those doubters, it's crocodile wood. It's not tusk of an elephant, as the elephant tusks are on here. Get a piece. It's wood. It's wood. It's wood. See, it's all carved as wood. That's wood. See the carving at the end there? It's all being carved. That's cut as wood. Ivory has like grains inside. It's kind of like very easy to spot. Where did I pull that from? Here. So it's all, yeah, hand carved. It took months to make, a master carver, and I love elephants. I've been to Lek. Somebody asked me about Lek. What do I think about it? Look, if there's stuff going around about Lek and stuff like that, people have been saying anything negative, I had no idea. All I know is that when I was there, I was with Sunshine, he's called, and he was a guide for one of the elephants. He took us around and explained what was going on, and we paid for the day, and I actually wrote an article about spirit breaking, and that went into a big magazine on the coast. It was actually a good write-up. I was really proud of it. So we did our bit to spread the truth about spirit breaking. Sorry about the noise, but they're back here again now, so there's not much I can do about that. Anyway, there you go. Answered one customer with that, and the other customer about Lek, which is the lady who from a young age took care of elephants that were beaten and abused, and she tried to train the locals on how to treat the elephant, and she took elephants in, and she then had over 200 elephants and 500 dogs and what have you, so water buffalo, and that costs a lot of money to keep the place going. I saw nothing but people treating the elephants with love, and that's it. But hey ho, who knows, unless you're there and you know the person. But you know, at the end of the day, people are what people do. Simple as that, you know. But I've no idea. I ain't got a clue. So, well, I was going to do part 13 of the Pure Energy Healing course, but then I thought, why don't I just do something, you know, kind of break it up a little bit and do something today which is slightly different. So some of you enjoy some of my true stories, so I thought I was just signing some Seeing the Invisible books, and I thought I flicked through and just stopped at one page, and it said the Shaman Spirit Guide, and I thought, oh, that was a lovely story. So maybe you want to come and join me and listen to the story. Come a bit closer. Okay, so it was actually an interesting. We could talk about. We could do a little workshop on this conversation because it's quite beautiful. So basically, what happened was, I was asked by Derek Akora's agent to meet him. You'll all remember, if you're in the UK, Derek Akora. He was Sam was his spirit guide, and he did Most Haunted for years. And I thought, okay, so we went down, and at the time I was married to Susie, no longer married to Susie now. So we were down there, and he's a bundle of life, you know, I mean, he's like, energy is incredible, really, you know, quite a magnificent guy. You can see why, you know, he's got this life and all that. And I remember sat down, and his agent was next to me and had a really bad back, and I could feel it. I was in pain myself because I could feel the pain. And Derek turned around to him and says, he can heal you. He'll heal you. And funny enough, the agent did come up and have a healing session, and he was healed, which was pretty sharp of Derek. So, but the one thing that struck me was like for me, I wanted to ask, like, what was really important is, why didn't anybody help spirit back into the light when you did all them shows? That was something I asked, because like for me, it was so easy to know that when I started doing this work, when I went into houses, it was important to help spirit back into the light. It makes sense. So when you're going into these churches, castles, I don't understand any other thing than, why not help them back into the light? Let them go home, because these spirits are trapped here. They're not coming from the spirit world and then going again. They're actually here. They're stuck here. You can feel it. You can feel that's not the same energy as spirit when you're working with spirit, or not for me anyway. So that's my interpretation, my experience. So who knows what everybody else thinks, but there's a difference. I feel the difference of energy when spirit comes forward to help somebody in a healing session. You can feel that energy. It's filled with love, clarity, healing, peace. It's an incredible feeling. But when you go into a house and there's a spirit there that is maybe causing chaos, or maybe causing trouble or breaking things, which it was quite often, you can feel there's something uneasy. It's not, that sensation feels different. The energy feels different. So getting back to sat with Derek, great, full of life, and Derek and the agent said, okay, we'd like to do a show with you. And I said, well, to be honest, I'm not a medium, so that ain't gonna work. But I am willing to, work alongside him, and he does his stuff, and just let me get on and do my stuff. So we arranged to do a show, and it was publicised all over. And I ended up preparing my room. My room was predominantly about two things. I was going to do something that I really love doing, which is ritual work, which sounds a bit like, to most people, demonic and all that, but it wasn't, because who I learned from were people who worked in the light. They worked with light, they worked with love, and what their objective was to clear all of the negative energy, whether it's past, present, or the future. We're trying to cleanse and clear so you feel better. Ultimately, it's a beautiful experience. Sometimes it's a bit heavy. Sometimes we have to do a lot of healing work, but it's beautiful. You sit down. I turn around. I might turn a few cards over. Then I get my feather, do the cleansing, and then ask them to breathe in a certain way, and then I'll place my hand on their heart, their shoulders, their head, wherever I feel I need to go, and do some blasting work. So it's basically like a jet wash, blasting you and strengthening you and healing you, and at the same time giving a message, so I can hear spirit, their family and spirit world speaking to them. And I gave them a message, and sometimes it's really profound. Anybody who's ever been to one of those circles found it very profound. Now, funnily enough, for the first time in 20 years, a friend of mine sent me a message and said there was a lady who was trying to get hold of me, and this is the truth. And I said, oh yeah, well, I said, I don't do the work anymore. Yeah, she came to one of your rituals circles. It was a flower circle, flower blessing. And she claims that her life went downhill from there. And I went, wow, first time I've ever heard that, first time. In fact, if I'd have heard that back then, I don't think I'd have ever continued doing the work. And I said, yeah, no problem. If she wants to speak to me, please do so. But apparently, she was a troubled soul anyway well before that. So maybe, who knows I'm not saying anything other than let's just talk, let's see what we can do, see if we can get you back and strong and wonderful. That's all I'm interested in. But yeah, it was interesting that came after 20 years of work. It's a first. But yeah, so anyway, I got the room ready, and I asked 1, 2, I think 3 or 4 pure energy healers to come and help with this evening. I have no ego. I'm not there to say it's me, I'm doing this. I don't care about any of that BS. I wanted people to help, and at the end of the day, if I can get healers to come and make a difference, like we did on a couple of 3 years ago before this nonsense happened, I decided to do a free healing weekend. It was called Illuminate, because I wanted to illuminate that word, not Illuminati, but illuminate, so people can feel the energy of love and healing. So loads of healers, pure energy healers, decided to come, amazing healers. So we had about, I don't know, 20, 30 beds upstairs. It was a gallery and they were all around. And then downstairs there were talks being given by Bettina talked about health and well-being. Reg Lenny talked about all sorts of the steps towards healing your mind, body and soul. And Kerry talked about the F word. Did she just swear? She's swearing! And then I realised she's like Osho. If you've ever seen the Osho video about F-U-C-K, it's quite interesting. But yeah, they're just words, right? And who else? Oh yeah, me. So there was a few of us who gave a talk. And then there was beautiful Dorota, who was the singing angel lady. And it was just a beautiful experience. And then, you know, all the healers would come down from upstairs and give a healing session to the crowd. It was really profound. So I wanted to do the same thing, but in a smaller environment. So it was a very special, for me it was easy to fill because I'm on the coast, everybody knows me, nobody knows Derek over here. So, you know, I told all my friends and so everybody from all over the world came. They all booked to come to see me and Derek. Who is this Derek? He's a really nice guy and he's going to do mediumship on stage. And he's going to try and bring forward some of your family members and talk to you about them and stuff. And yeah, loads of people were interested. They like spirituality. They like that kind of thing. So they booked from all over the world. So they'd already booked their tickets. They booked their flights. And then I had an awful phone call from the agent saying, he's not coming. And I said, why? Well, we haven't booked. All the seats aren't booked. I said, there's a few hundred seats booked. It's okay. He can stay with me if he's worried about money, no problem, I'll put him up. But no, that wasn't going to happen. So I was really disappointed. But anyway, he didn't end up coming because of one reason or another. I was disappointed. The agent rung me up and said, if you say anything else, we're going to sue you and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wow, this isn't spirituality. This is madness. So, you know, I was a bit disappointed. I rung Derek up. We talked about it and then that was it. But hey ho, such is life. Good man. But, you know, these things happen. I was devastated because a lot of my clients, you know, they all got their money back, but obviously they couldn't get the money back for the flights. So I said, don't, you know, I tried to compensate a lot of people and say, you know, anyway, enough. I starts the circle, got 4 beautiful healers with me, created like altars at 4 corners with healing beds. So I started the healing night. So there was about 40, 50 people, something like that. They were all sat in a circle and I was in the middle of the circle and I started bringing people in one by one. Anyway, right at the beginning, there was a little boy and somebody came over and said, somebody came over and said, is it okay if the little boy comes and sits down? And I said, I didn't see him. I said, oh, I'm really sorry. It's 18 and over. That's all my work. No children in this kind of environment, you know, psychic work and stuff. No. Healing work is different, but this could be very profound. It could be a lot of screaming, crying, and lots of things can happen. And I said, so I don't think that would be advisable. So that's a no. That's my mind kicking in because of my mentor once told me never work with anybody under 18. And that was because of legal things. But anyway, one of the healers came up and said, Mark, that little boy is very special. And I went, oh yeah. And I turned and went, oh, what do you think? And she said, you know what, Mark, I think he should be fine here. And I went, okay, let's get on with it. So the little boy sat down. I'm here looking at the circle. I introduced myself and told them what we were going to do. We were going to work with white light. We're going to work with love. We're going to cleanse and clear, and it's going to be a beautiful night. And if I need your help, I'm going to call out to you to send healing and hold your hands like this and blast energy into the circle. So we're all a family. We're all good healers. And I explained everything. And so we began the flower ritual. So halfway through the night, it comes to this little boy, and this little boy had been sat there like good as gold. And it was his turn. First time I've ever had a little boy, a little tiny boy. He was only, I don't know how old he was, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8. I can't remember. It's in my book. If you read Seeing the Invisible, it's in there. The story's in there. So he sits on the seat, and I'm kind of exhausted because, like, it does take a lot out of you. It really does, because you've really got to put a lot of effort and energy into this. Anyway, he sits down, and I start the work, and it was strange. I could feel this sensation, this energy around him. When you're in circles, strange things happen anyway. But I felt this immense energy building up as I'm doing the cleansing work on him. And I remember walking round, looking at him and going down on my knees. And I put my hand on his heart, and he looked at me, and he took his hand and he put it on my heart. Imagine this little boy. And all of a sudden my body just went into this. It's very difficult to describe in words, like most energy work, but my body went into a divine feeling of nirvana. And it was something that, again, I unexplainable. My body went into a shake. It kind of went light. I felt nothingness but inner peace and this euphoria. And I looked into this boy's eyes, and I swear to you, this little boy's face changed into a shaman, into an old man. And I can remember saying, I'm so sorry. Because I didn't want him to be here at the beginning, telling him, no, we can't have kids. I'm sorry, I didn't see you. I didn't see you, meaning I didn't know who you were. And I can see you now. And this little boy just smiled and carried on. And what he did in that healing for me was something that cannot be explained. It was so powerful. And I burst into tears, and I was saying thank you to the shaman within. When I'd finished, he got up and he did his work. I was energized, I was filled with life, I was blown away, the circle was blown away, everybody was blown away what they saw, which was a very special moment for all of us. He sat back down, and I remember continuing doing the work. I don't know how long he stayed for thereafter, because it was so late, people were going because it was through the night. And there were still people left, and most of the seats were empty. But I was able to continue that night with full strength and power. And it ended really well. The circle was closed. I said goodnight to the remaining people. Everybody hugged each other. It was a beautiful flower ritual, and I was proud of the 4 healers that held the energy in the room for me, and they did some amazing work. So all in all, I was very proud. Somebody did come over and say that was quite amazing with the little boy, and I said, yeah, profound, eh? Anyway, we all left, and the next day, one of the healers was so blown away by what was happening that they took photos of the night, and she said, I've got some photos I want you to look at. And she shared some photographs, and she said, but please take note of the little boy. And I said, oh, is he in the photos? Yeah. And I went through all the photos, and there was a photo of the little boy. And the little boy had, all the other photos were just normal photos of people just being smiling or, whatever. But then there's one photo of this little boy, and there was a huge orb of light right by him. It was incredible. It was so incredible that you realize that there are some children that are guided and gifted, and that they do work with special energy. Very rare, and I was very lucky, and so was the rest of the healers and the people who sat there. We were all lucky to experience this, to see it. And that's the story that blew me away. So I wrote that down in Seeing the Invisible, my new book. And it's one of the stories that was so profound, that changed me from that night onwards, and I felt so different inside. And I was so thankful for the shaman giving me the healing through this little child. And it made me recognize something about life. And that is, we shouldn't look at children as if they don't know anything. We shouldn't look at children as if we have to teach them everything. Sometimes it's the children who teach us. And they are pure. They are filled with love until they're contaminated and brainwashed by the darkness that is out there called the system. But every now and again, sometimes, just sometimes, a child can break through from that and see through it and step away from it and still retain the energy that they can heal us and that they can work with beautiful spirit guides in so many ways. So I guess this message today is never doubt your child, and know that by giving them love, by encouraging them, by telling them they're amazing, that they can have this connection to the spirit world and they can be powerful. And I think that's it, really. Just be loving towards children and give them a little bit more credit than what the system tells us to not. We kind of feel as if we have to teach them, but actually, what are we doing? Are we teaching them, or are we brainwashing them? And are we taking away the truth that is within them, that is always within them? Are we taking that away by, giving them fear, feeding them the wrong foods, feeding them negativity, and giving them the black screen and turning a beautiful light into dark? Something to think about. I encourage all my clients when they have children to tell them that they're amazing, give them that power that so many children grow up to be empty with, that their mum and dad never shared their love or trusted in them, or leave that kettle alone, you'll burn yourself. Instead of saying, okay, darling, this is a kettle, this is how we use it, you have to be careful, do you want to give it a try, and things like that. Just build confidence up with your child instead of fear-based all the time. Don't touch that, you'll burn yourself. And then from then on, the child will have fear with a kettle or with a fire or with anything that really, if you just take the time, trust your child and give them the information and become a good guide for your child, then they won't have that fear connection to all that is, and end up getting older and doing the same thing to their children out of what we believe is a good thing to do. Well, sometimes it's not also good. Sometimes it's better to change the way you are with children and see them in a different light and trust them a little bit more, and trust the plan, if there is one. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this story. A big shout out to everybody who works very hard towards helping their child going through a difficult, challenging time where the darkness is constantly trying to inject and poison all the time, and you're in my heart and soul. It must be difficult right now if you've got a child and the system is trying to put things into your child that maybe you don't want. There's one thing I can say, and I have said this on numerous videos, that there are people around the world who are free from poisons and they live a happy, healthy life without having to have anything, because their body is absolutely strong and powerful. And I've seen that as a healer over the 20 years. My experience is that most people who have allergies, most people who have breathing conditions and illnesses and diseases, is because they had things put into them that maybe caused a reaction and caused great harm later in life. The people that I saw became who grew up with their child with breast milk and looked after their body and said no to modern medicine and believed and trusted in their body system, grew up to be amazing, powerful, and they went nowhere near these buildings and these people in white coats. So that's my understanding, and that's the truth. That isn't exaggeration. I'm not saying it because I'm trying to sell anything. It's the truth. It's the truth. And why is it so hard for us not to be able to talk the truth? Why can't we say it? Because it's dangerous. Why is it dangerous? Because you could be causing harm. Because if they don't do that, then this could happen. Yeah, but this could, what does that mean? What's that mean? Means nothing. Means nothing. You're just saying things to scare people. So I don't buy into it. I really don't. But that's my truth. I wish you all a beautiful day. Thank you so much for going to markbajerski.com. I've got some great news coming up in the next couple of days. Amazing. So I don't know if it's up yet, but it's the Pure Energy Healing Academy.com or PEH academy.com. Go and have a look, and I'll talk about it in full detail soon. But this is what I've been a bit exhausted about, because we've been working really hard to create dates for the next online courses. So I'm so excited. The first ever Pure Energy Healing Crystal course online. It's going to be amazing. What we've done in these 2 years, we've created, it's now coming together. So it's 2 years in the making. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm looking forward to talk about that. Please, if you haven't, go to Mark Bajerski Crystals channel and subscribe. And I don't know if there is a bell button, but we do put videos up there every day. So yeah, I think I'm down to day 7. So let's see on day 7. Day 7 of my 90-day strike on here, because I said something that they didn't like. And not that it wasn't true, but they said it wasn't true, but it was true. And they didn't like it, so they give me 2 strikes. So I've got, I think, is it 5 more days left, and then after that my strikes disappear, or at least one of them does. So I might be able to say a little bit more truth, but who knows. I just want to try and keep this channel, because there's a lot goes to watch this. Well, there used to be, not so much now. We used to have a much bigger viewership, and but because I started saying things that the darkness didn't like, then they started slapping my wrist. Yeah, because I'm a naughty boy for telling truth. Don't tell the truth. Only tell them what we want you to tell them, eh? Love you all. Have a great day. Thank you so much for going to markbajerski.com and buying your authentic crystals, oils, incense, and now teas. Yeah. Oh, by the way, can't believe it. They've all sold out, but I am actually working on some more. So give me a little bit of time. Moldavite and clear quartz. I can't believe they've all sold out. Flown out of the door. You love them, I know. Let me finish working on them, and I will put some up in the next week. I'll try. So thanks for that, because somebody, 2 or 3 people asked me about them a few days ago. And I'm continuing working. Next video should be diopside. Yeah, diopside.